The sky splits, not with a sigh, but with a scream of light. For a heartbeat, the world forgets to breathe. Trees bow, rivers shudder, and every creature, man, beast, and spirit, turns its eyes upward, because this isn't just weather, this is a presence. This is Perun. He does not drift like a distant, uncaring god. He arrives, a blinding spear of lightning stitches heaven to earth, and at its burning tip stands the ruler of the upper world. Perun, high above the mortal dust, seated on a throne of compressed thunderheads, rooted atop the towering world tree that binds the three realms together. His hair is the storm's wild mane, his beard a tumbling mass of cloud. In his fist, an axe forged from pure thunder, humming with barely contained violence. When it falls, mountains remember. When it falls, oaths break or are sealed forever. Thunder is not a metaphor in his world. It is the sound of judgment being delivered. Each strike is a verdict, each flash, a sentence written in white fire across a black sky. Perun does not symbolize justice, he enforces it. He does not represent the storm, he is the storm that chooses where to land. In the crack of the sky, in the flash that blinds, in the roar that shakes your bones, the Slavs did not see poetry. They saw him, but Perun's power meant nothing without an enemy to strike. Before the first thunder ever cracked, the world was already divided. Above, there is the upper world, a vault of blinding sky, where clouds are not just weather, but walls of a palace. This is where Perun rules. His realm is the height of the world, the domain of light, of fire, of law. Lightning is his signature carved across the heavens, and every rumble of thunder is the echo of his footsteps along the storm. Beneath that, balanced on the knife edge of survival, lies the middle world, our world. Forests thick as secrets, rivers that remember every name ever spoken on their banks, villages where smoke curls from wooden roofs and people look up when the sky growls, wondering if a god is watching or judging. This is the fragile strip of land where humans plant crops, wage wars, swear oaths, and hope Perun is listening. And far below, deeper than any root and darker than any night, sprawls the lower world. It is not just a pit of shadows. It is the wild, hungry underside of creation. There, things twist. There, order dissolves. It's the home of chthonic spirits, serpents of the deep, and powers that do not care for human laws or heavenly justice. Binding all three is the world tree, its crown brushing Perun's stormy throne, its trunk rising through the middle world, its roots choking the black soil of the depths below. This tree is not decoration. It is the spine of reality, the single column holding three worlds apart that are always threatening to crash together. And that's the stage. Heaven above, law and lightning. Earth between, fragile and fearful. Darkness below, patient and rising. And from the roots of that world tree, something always crawled upward. From the roots of the world tree, something moves. Not with footsteps, but with a slow, coiling drag. It is fur and scale, horn and shadow, never the same shape twice. This is Veles. He is the serpent in the dark water, the dragon in the fog, the shapeshifter who never fully steps into the light. If Perun is height, order and sky, Veles is depth, chaos and earth. He does not rule a shining throne. He seeps into rivers, into swamps, into caves where the sun has never been invited, and he is not content to stay below. Veles steals. He slithers up from the lower world and into the middle one, where humans live and gods watch. He steals cattle, the lifeblood of the village. He steals wealth, stored grain, treasures, the things people cling to in the hope of surviving the winter. In some tales, he steals children. In others, he dares something even greater. He steals from Perun himself. There are stories where Veles kidnaps Perun's wife, dragging her down into the shadows, or he raids the gods' herds, mocking the sky with every stolen hoofbeat. Each theft is not just a crime. It is a challenge, a cosmic insult. And Perun answers. The sky darkens, not gently, but like a curtain ripped down in anger. Clouds pile up like armies preparing for war. Then the first flash. Perun has taken up his thunder axe. He hurls it across the sky, each bolt of lightning a weapon aimed at the writhing, fleeing figure of Veles. Thunder is the sound of impact, of blows landing, of sky striking earth. Rain lashes the fields as if the world itself is caught between the two forces. Down below, Veles darts and changes shape. A serpent in a river, a beast in the forest, fog over the marsh. He hides in wells, in lakes, in the hollow places of the earth. Each time Perun strikes, Veles slips just out of reach, diving deeper, closer to the roots of the world tree, back toward the lower world that birthed him. To the Slavs, a thunderstorm wasn't just weather moving through. It was the myth in motion. Every flash, Perun's aim, every roar, his rage, every fork of lightning, another attempt to pin Veles to the ground and reclaim what was stolen. Sometimes Perun wins. The storm breaks. The rain cleanses the earth. Order is restored. The stolen cattle return. Life continues. But the victory is never final, because Veles always survives. He sinks back into the dark, patient, waiting for the next moment of weakness, the next chance to slip upward and break the order of things again. Every victory restored order, but only for a time. To the Slavs, lightning wasn't random. It was a sentence being passed. In Perun's hand, lightning is not just a weapon, it's a verdict. When it tears across the sky, it's as if the god of thunder is pointing, choosing, declaring, "Here, this is where justice falls." People feared lightning, of course, but they also respected it. A struck tree, a shattered roof, a burned field wasn't only seen as bad luck. It could be a sign, a message. Maybe someone in that house broke an oath. Maybe someone nearby lied under a sacred vow. Maybe a thief thought he could hide in the dark, and Perun simply lit up the sky to prove him wrong. Because Perun doesn't just punish monsters, he punishes oath-breakers. In old beliefs, swearing an oath under Perun's gaze was deadly serious. To betray your word, to turn traitor against your kin, to steal what was protected by sacred promise, that was stepping directly into the storm god's path. And Perun was not a god known for mercy. There is a saying in these traditions, Perun does not miss. If lightning strikes a man in the open, or a lone traveler under a clear but suddenly split sky, it wasn't bad timing. It was the execution of a divine decision. Even if people didn't fully understand the reason, they could still tell themselves, Perun has judged, Perun has acted. In this way, lightning became the most visible form of divine law. Other gods might whisper through omens, through dreams, through priests. Perun carved his decrees into the world with fire. Every thunderbolt was a line in a cosmic legal code written across the clouds, a law that no human king could overrule and no criminal could outrun. And when humans went to war, they believed Perun marched above them. If lightning was judgment, then battle was its echo on earth. Perun was not just a storm god in the clouds. He was the patron of warriors, princes, and every shield raised in formation. When Slavic warriors marched to war, they didn't see themselves as chaos breaking loose. They saw themselves as Perun's order advancing. War under Perun's gaze was sacred when it was disciplined. Not a wild bloodbath, not a drunken raid with no purpose, but violence given structure. Ranks, commands, banners, oaths. It was the difference between a mob and an army. Before battle, oaths were everything. Men swore to stand by their prince, to hold the line, to not abandon their brothers. These vows weren't just promises to each other. They were spoken under the sky, under Perun's watching eyes, to break in battle, to flee when ordered to stand, to betray your side for gold or fear. That wasn't just cowardice. It was treason against Perun himself, and Perun, as we've seen, has ways of dealing with traitors. He was also the guardian of walls and borders, wooden fortresses, hilltop strongholds, palisades circling a village. These were not just clever human defenses. They were seen as places where Perun's power was invited to dwell. The crash of thunder over a frontier was almost a reassurance. The war god is on patrol. Other cultures imagined gods of war as frenzy, madness, berserk rage, deities who drove men into a blind bloodlust where they forgot themselves. Perun is different. He is controlled violence, the drawn bow, not the wild swing, the command shouted from the hill, not the scream lost in the crowd. He doesn't revel in mindless slaughter. He favors the warrior who can obey, endure, and strike when it truly matters. But Perun's strength was more than force, it was authority. You can't talk about Perun without talking about what he throws. In most tales, his weapon is an axe, sometimes a hammer, sometimes a club, but always something heavy, solid, meant to crush through shields, skulls, and storms alike. When lightning splits the sky, that's not just light. That's Perun's weapon in mid-flight. The Slavs believed that when these divine weapons struck the earth, they left something behind. Strange, ancient stones shaped like axe heads or arrow points, dug up in fields and forests after storms. These were called thunderstones. To a farmer, finding one wasn't just archaeology. It was like discovering a lost weapon of the god himself. People kept these thunderstones in their homes, in barns near their cattle. They were charms of protection and power, proof that Perun had once struck here and might watch over this place again. But there was another part to the story. Perun's weapons don't stay. In some beliefs, after lying in the earth for a time, the thunderstones vanish, returning to the sky, back into Perun's hand, ready to be hurled again. Like boomerangs of the divine, they belong only briefly to humans before being reclaimed by their true master. And this idea isn't unique. Across other Indo-European myths, the thunder god almost always has a special weapon. A hammer, a spear, a bolt that only he can wield, that always finds its way back. Different names, different lands. Same flash, same fear. To the Slavs, Perun's weapon was the signature of his presence, the stamp of his will on the world, and all of this power flowed from where Perun ruled. If Veles coils in the roots and rivers, Perun reigns where the air is thin. He is the god of heights, of mountain tops scraped by clouds, of cliffs that overlook whole valleys, of the endless shifting sky. When storms gather on a distant ridge, it isn't just weather piling up. It's Perun assembling his court. Sacred places dedicated to him weren't hidden underground. They were raised up, hill shrines, open-air sanctuaries, and above all, the oak. The oak tree was Perun's living temple. Massive, deep-rooted, reaching higher than any other tree. The oak stood as a natural pillar between worlds, roots in the underworld, trunk in the human realm, crown in the sky. To stand beneath a sacred oak in a storm, to hear thunder crack overhead, was to feel like you were inside Perun's own hall. No walls, no roof, just sky, branches, and the voice of the storm god. High above, another symbol circled, the eagle. In many traditions, the eagle is Perun's bird, his sharp-eyed messenger. It rides the winds where humans cannot breathe, seeing far, striking fast. If Perun is the thunderbolt, the eagle is the gaze that guides it. But even with all this power, Perun is not the creator of the world. He is its defender. He doesn't forge the cosmos from nothing, he patrols it. He maintains the fragile balance between order and chaos, between sky and underworld, between oath and betrayal. Every storm he unleashes, every bolt he throws, is part of this endless maintenance work. Without Perun, the world wouldn't instantly vanish. It would slowly fall apart. Borders would blur, laws would rot. The tree of the world would stand unguarded, its branches open to whatever monster dared to climb. Perun is not the first word of creation. He is the shield held up to protect it, but even gods are vulnerable to time. For centuries, Perun's presence was carved in wood and crowned in metal, staring down from hilltops and fortress walls. Then the crosses arrived. With the Christianization of the Slavic lands, the old gods were declared demons, their shrines pagan errors to be wiped away. But erasing a god is never just an idea, it starts with his face. Perun's idols were the first to fall. Chroniclers describe tall wooden statues, adorned with silver or gold, standing in the heart of cities and strongholds. These were not small, hidden objects. They were public, official, honored, and one by one, they were pulled down. Some were hacked apart in front of gathered crowds, splintered by axes once raised in Perun's own name. Others were burned, the smoke of the thunder god's image curling up into the sky he once ruled. Most famously, in places like Kiev, Perun's idol was dragged through the streets and cast into the river. The symbolism was brutal and precise. The high god of the upper world, thrown down into the waters, into Veles' domain. The protector of borders, helplessly carried past them. The war-bringer, now a silent log, bobbing along while people laughed, prayed, or watched in uneasy silence. There is a strange, almost mythic irony here. Perun, who had battled dragons, guarded oaths, and shattered the unruly with lightning, was defeated not by a heroic challenger, not by some rival deity in a world-shaking duel, but by priests, ropes, and fire. No clash of thunder, no last stand beneath the sacred oak. Just the quiet humiliation of a toppled statue, drifting away. On the surface, it looked like the end of a god. Yet gods of thunder are not so easily erased. On paper, Perun was gone. In the fields and villages, he simply changed clothes. As Christianity spread, people were told to abandon the old gods and pray to the saints instead. But you can't just delete centuries of fear and respect for thunder with a sermon. So in many Slavic lands, the storms did not fall silent. They just started answering to a new name, Saint Elijah. Elijah in the Bible is a prophet of fire. He calls down flames from heaven, rides in a chariot of burning light, and ascends into the sky. For Slavic villagers used to Perun's lightning and roaring clouds, this felt familiar, too familiar. Soon it was Elijah who thundered across the sky, Elijah who hurled the bolts, Elijah who rode the storm chariot. People would say that on Elijah's feast day, lightning was especially dangerous. Work in the fields was avoided, just as it once had been on Perun's sacred times. No one would say, "We still worship Perun." They didn't have to. In folk songs, in prayers, in small, half-whispered customs, Perun's old job description lived on under Elijah's badge. The saint became the new face for an ancient role, the sky rider, the storm bringer, the punisher of oath breakers and the burner of wicked fields. The church saw Elijah. The people, deep down, still felt Perun. This is how myths survive, not always in open defiance, but in disguise, shifting shapes to fit new rules while keeping old thunder in their hearts. So who was Perun, beyond temples and names? Perun is not a god who rests. He is not a distant creator who finishes his work and retreats into silence. He is a guardian in motion, a warrior who never gets to sheath his weapon, because the world is never fully safe. As long as there is a sky, there is a border to defend. Every storm is a reminder that the old story hasn't ended. When dark clouds mass on the horizon and the air turns heavy, it is the stage being rebuilt for an ancient drama. Perun above, Veles below, the world tree between them. The rain begins, the wind rises, and then the thunder speaks. In that booming roll across the heavens, the Slavs didn't just hear weather, they heard the clash of a god's axe against a serpent's coils. Every lightning bolt was a renewed strike at the thief of cattle, the breaker of oaths, the dragger of souls into the deep. The battle is never truly won. Veles always returns to test the borders, to steal, to corrupt, to undo. And Perun always answers, again and again, with fire from the sky. Not to create a new world, but to keep this one from collapsing into chaos. The myth lives in repetition. Each storm is not a memory of something that happened long ago. It is the event itself, replaying, continuing, insisting that order must be defended in every age. For the ancient Slavs, thunder was not noise in the sky. It was Perun still fighting. If you enjoyed this dive into Slavic mythology, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which god or myth you want to see next.